Day, everybody. It is currently the 31st of August, 2014. The main topic for today's update is Invest 90W. It's actually a low pressure area located out here just towards the west of Yap, south of Guam, east of Palau. And this poses the threat of becoming our first organized tropical system since basically the end of July, at least the first homegrown tropical system. The month of August has been absolutely barren out here. Actually, take a look at this graph. I put this together last week, showing you the amount of typhoons thus far this year compared to an average year. And you can see in July, we actually had an above average month for named storm systems in the Western Pacific. But for August, outside of Genevieve, we had none. So I'm not counting Genevieve because it actually formed in the Eastern Pacific, moved across the Central Pacific, and eventually made its way over towards Western Pacific. It was not homegrown. So this would be the first time since records began that we did not have any tropical systems in the Western Pacific. Just absolutely amazing for the month of August. I'm actually going to put together a Westpac Weather 101 video sometime in the near future when I get the time, just explaining what happened. But in short, we just had no convection out there, really organized over an extended period of time. You need a low pressure area here with moisture to just develop. Furthermore, the Westpac high has been situated farther back towards the east, and that's been suppressing anything from organizing. The sea surface temperatures have been there. The wind shear from this high kind of did up the ante as far as disorganization. So really, since basically the end of July, nothing has been able to form. This one right here, Invest 90W, this is a stretch too. As far as late August, early September storm systems look, I mean, this is like the lower of the totem pole. It's absolutely disorganized, but it is going to bring some much needed rainfall towards the Philippines, and it does bring that threat of becoming a named storm system. I'm not saying it's going to be, because right now we're still looking at the genesis phase on this. It just has it as a low pressure area of 1006 HPA. Even in their 48-hour forecast, they don't have it really organizing into anything else. Latest ASCAT imagery, if you want to look at satellite derived winds, show, well, this. It shows a little bit of a circulation right in here, and the wind's kicking up to about 25 to 30 knots. So we got a little blimp on the radar as far as your winds are concerned, but I think this is going to be changing up a lot as we look ahead throughout the next 24-48 hours. So starts to develop into something new. So let's take a look at our ECMWF model. This is overlaid on the Meteo Earth app. Absolutely great app if you want to track these storm systems. And we have our elongated circulation out here heading through Sunday and the Monday, basically stretching from western Guam just north of Palau. And you can just see how this starts to organize into a monsoonal gyre type of low. And what I mean by that is you have really lax winds right here, and the bulk of the precipitation looks like it stretches out on the peripheries of this. Remember Nakri? Same situation setting up here. I don't see this being a tight circulation around that center. Now, as we look ahead through Monday into Tuesday, just watch that low organize. It starts to gather some intensity just off the eastern seaboard of Visayas here. But the big thing, it pulls in that moisture from the west. So we see several days of persistent moisture coming across the Philippines. So even if we don't see a direct landfalling storm system, just look at that. Watch this. Basically starting on Monday, going through Tuesday, and into Wednesday, the rain doesn't let up, especially around Cebu area. We could be seeing some flooding out here, not because of these localized strong storms, but because of that persistent flow. And I think that could be a problem if this low does take its time and tracks off there towards the east. This would be typical for an early season storm. We're talking about April and June, but it's late September, late August, early September, and that's exactly what we're seeing. And once again, every time we see this, we see that enhancement of the monsoon, and we see that threat for flooding. So I think through midweek, some areas, especially in Visayas, we're going to be seeing a significant flood threat. Now, how strong will this get? Well, let's look at some of the other models first. Right now, I mean, there is some room for error. A lot of the other models, this is the NavGem showing our big, broad circulation, but that persistent flow coming in from the south. Our GFS model, same situation. We have our low right there. It's weak. And as far as At this time of year, this is just a blip on the radar, but hey, we're watching it. The thing about the GFS in the long range, though, it does keep it off the eastern seaboard of the Philippines, but it tracks it up there towards Okinawa. Now, this is what I also want to show you because some of you, especially the model hawks, may see this. Now, this is from the Canadian model. The thing about the Canadian model is you have to remember it's built for Canada, so it's terrible at storms in the tropics. That's just the nature of this model. Furthermore, it's not built for the tropics. It's built for storms in higher latitudes. So let's take a look at this, though. And this one spins up our low, keeps it well off the coast of the Philippines. Good news for you, bad news for me because it charges it right into Japan. Now, as I mentioned, this just shows you the range in the models. We're still in the initial phases of this storm system, and there is still a lot of uncertainty. And actually, this is looking at the multi-model ensemble. And what it shows you is the errors in the models, how much they disagree with each other. And these areas in the darker greens, this shows more disagreement. And if we look ahead, this is by basically Sunday going into Monday. Look at this broad area of just the models are saying, you know what, none of us are on the same page of what's going on here. And that's going to be the case until we get this storm system organized into something more than what we see on the satellite picture, which is a broad, disorganized area of cloud cover. The center of circulation is having a hard time developing, but I think in the long range, at least in the next 48, 72 hours, this is going to get some sort of act together. And as we look ahead, those of you across the Philippines, that enhanced monsoonal flow is going to be a problem. Or make a direct landfall. If it does, it's going to be somewhere out here, probably in eastern Luzon. The big thing is that you see this right here. Okay, we have our troughing of low pressure. We have this, well, it looks like the plum rain's off towards the north. It's just been sticking around forever. Actually, another shot of heavy rain showers expected across the Tokyo area by Monday. But in the middle, we have our high pressure ridge. And it depends if there's a weakening in the trough right here, which I don't see happening. So this is probably going to go into this sort of direction. I know it looks like a football play I'm drawing out here, but a lot of factors in the end taking place here. Is that high pressure ridge going to stay in place, or is it going to weaken and allow our storm system to turn towards the north through mid in the latter part of this week? Right now, though, this is organizing. Expect rains across the Philippines. That's the short 7-minute long update. That's what I probably could have said. I hope you watched all the way through. If you did and you finished up with that, let me know. And as always, stay safe out there. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.